Hello. Today I'm going to show you how to cook inside your truck. As a truck driver, we have multiple different ways of getting our food and multiple different places that we can go to eat. Alright, you can eat at the truck stops, okay? Truck stops that depend on which one you go to. There's a Country Pride, there's a Denny's, Golden Corral. There's also fast food joints. We call them choke and pukes. You have different types of fast food places in the truck stops, like you got McDonald's, you got Subway, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, all right, and then you have the various what we in the military call pogie bait, scattered all throughout the truck stop. So, and then there's my method. Now, my method is not one that I developed on my own. It is a method that I picked up off of a fellow truck driver. He has his own channel. Just go check it out. Recently, not too long ago, he had some surgery done, and I'm hoping that he gets back in the truck. He's a really great guy. His channel is Big Rig Talk. Normally, I don't endorse other people's channels, but for him, I will. Should go check out his videos. What I'm going to show you, I learned from him. It's working great for me. I haven't fallen to the wayside and become one of those obese drivers that you see out on the highway. And I think a lot of that has to do with what he showed me. So I'm going to show you the exact same thing, and I'm going to show you how I do it, and maybe it'll help you out when you're on the road and you need something to eat. Y'all can see that this here is the very first thing that you're going to need. This here is a butane stove, not propane. You can pick these up at Walmart. They're very small, lightweight, very compact, and they work very well when you're trying to cook some food. Like I said, once you have it out of the package, all right, you place it on a table like I have it here, okay? And I don't know if you can tell, but the table is fairly evenly spaced between my driver and my passenger seat. Now, safety is of the utmost importance, so you want to make sure that you have some ventilation, because you will be cooking inside of an enclosed space. And you also need your fire extinguisher, which I have handy right there. That is not the proper stove position for it, well aware of that, but right there I can easily get to it, and I can save my ass if need be. Now, this thing, like I said, takes a butane canister. Right here on the side, there is a Coleman butane canister. I just line the notches up, close the latch, and I'm ready to go. Right here are the controls, the only two controls on this butane stove that you really need. Focus, no, alright. This here is your butane canister lock. You push it down and it locks the canister in. This here ignites your burner. Alright, you just turn it over, all the way over till it clicks, and just like a regular gas stove or anything like that, you'll get a click up top coming off of this little nipple right here. It's kind of hard to see. Alright, and it will ignite the gas as it's coming out, and you will have flame. Now, the other thing that you're going to need, you're going to need a water kettle. This here is a 1.7 liter water kettle. Okay, it plugs into my power inverter that I have in my truck. A simple on-off switch will turn it on, turn it off. It's real simple to operate. You just open the top, you pour the water in. Inside I got some water ready. You can see the coils. Those coils will heat up, make the water boil. Now you might be asking, why would I need a water kettle if I have a stove and I can boil water on a stove? Well, I only have one stove, and I only have one water kettle, and I only have one power inverter right down there on the bottom. So what ends up happening is, you want to make a good meal, you're going to need those items right there. to get yourself a good meal. Now here's what we are going to eat. We are going to have mashed potatoes. Alright, these mashed potatoes right here I got from Walmart. They're about $1 a bag. This particular one is roasted garlic and Parmesan. They're instant potatoes. This is part of what you're going to need the water for. Instant mashed potatoes. Alright, I've used, obviously the bag's open, I've used this one before. They're not the same as homemade mashed potatoes, but they will work, especially if you are on a tight budget. We're also going to have corn. Alright, this here is a small can. It is an 8.5 ounce can of corn. Again, got it at Walmart. I paid around $1 for this. Great value brand. It doesn't matter. Corn is corn. You're basically paying for the name, so I went with the cheaper name and I got a good can of corn. Now, right here is my Coleman thermoelectric cooler. I have it sitting up on its top end with the vent up here on the top where the motor is. I get more use out of it that way. Everything inside stays ice cold and I don't got to worry about anything. That's typically how I set this. But inside here, I'm going to open this up, and it is hiding. Move the juice, move the soda. There it is. That there is our dinner. If you can see that, that is Jones Creek grass-fed beef filet mignon. All right, it's not very big. It's kind of small. It's sealed in a bag. It's nice and cold, and that's what we're going to put in. And that's what we're going to have. So all together, we're going to have some steak, some corn, and some mashed potatoes. Good homemade style. The very last thing that you're going to need is something to obviously to cook the steak in. So, skillet. This here is a small, it's an 8-inch skillet, non-stick skillet. Doesn't matter. I have some cooking spray. That skillet there, plenty big enough, fit that one steak in, just like that. Now, another thing that I have, because you're going to need it, is I have a thermometer. And the reason why I have a thermometer is because you want to make sure that when you're cooking meats, that you cook meats to the right temperature. That way you do not contract some sickness or anything like that. So with these items here, we are going to cook a dinner, and I will show you an amazing dinner. All of this, the steak here, by the way, cost $6. That was $1. That was $1. So for less than $10, I'm going to have a good steak meal. You must excuse me, I'm filming and cooking at the same time. Now, this here is my skillet, and what I'm going to do very first thing is I'm going to take my Pam cooking spray that I have here, and I'm going to put just a very little bit in the bottom. Voila. Now, to get the corn ready and to get the mashed potatoes ready, there is one other container that I'm going to be using, and that container is right here. Alright, you get these containers, they're very small, they're very cheap, very affordable, very easy to work with. I love them. We're going to put mashed potatoes in one, we're going to put corn in the other, and then we'll get the water heater going when we're ready for it, and then we'll get to cooking on that. So I'm going to get to that here in a minute. Right now, I got to get the steak on the stove. Alright, so the very first thing, I had to change my cameras. Battery was getting low on the other one. Very first thing that we're going to do, obviously, we're going to clear up so that we have some space to work. And the very first thing that we are going to do is we are going to get this steak right here, this grass-fed filet mignon. We're going to get it out of the package. We're going to get it right there in that skillet. We're going to get it cooking. We're going to get rolling. Now if you can see that, I got a real small flame going on there. Just what I want. I got the burner kind of low there. We can adjust so you can see the flame, bigger, smaller. And that there is our filet mignon. Perfect. Now, you can start hearing it sizzle. While that is sizzling, we are going to prep. We have these little loaf pans here, three to a batch. All we are going to do is cut them open. Discard the trash. Keep an eye on that steak. Separate the lids. We only need 2 as the filet mignon cooks. One of these will hold mashed potatoes, the other one will hold the corn. Now, we'll do the mashed potatoes first. All we're doing is prepping. A little prep work. You only want enough mashed potatoes that you're going to eat. That's a good little amount right there. Go ahead and shimmy shimmy. Perfect. We got our steak up here. We're just move it around. You can tell it's cooking good. Smells amazing. Turn the heat down a little bit. There we go. Now, to get the corn, we have a slight problem. The corn is in a sealed, both ends, aluminum can. I got to get that open. But by the graces of my wife, I have a bottle opener, or a can opener. Well, it does both, bottle and cans. So I got it open, and as you can see, there is some liquid inside. Alright. Normally that wouldn't be a problem, okay, but we don't want that liquid, so we are actually going to toss that liquid. And what we are going to do is we're going to close the lid just a little. We're going to open up that window right there, and we're going to pour some liquid out. We're going to give this little steak here a couple drags, keeping an eye on it. Alright, now, yep, steak's doing good. Alright, there's the corn, all drained and ready to go. And we turned the heat down a little bit more on the steak. What we're going to do is we're going to get that water kettle going. So what we're doing is we're going to add a little bit more water. Again, Walmart, my best friend. Get this water for about 70 cents on the gallon. Turn it on. We'll let it sit. And as that's doing that, we will get corn inside of our little container. Again, you only want what you're going to eat. Seems like a good amount. Perfect. The rest of the corn is going to go in the fridge for another day. Quadruple check that steak there. We're going to, oh yeah, nice and firm. Alright, now we just got to babysit the steak, and we'll get ready for the corn. Now, how the corn and the mashed potato is going to work is like this. Alright, you take your lids, alright, that come with the aluminum cans. Alright, you pour water into the corn, you close the lid and snap it. You pour water into the mashed potatoes, stir them up, and again with a second lid, because there's 3 lids, you put it on there, snap it, and let them cook. Alright, it won't take long for them to cook, trust me that. Alright, check up on this here steak. Steak's doing pretty good. At least I like him. I'm gonna stab that right there. Flip it over. All right. That steak cooks, you can see it's kind of pink in the middle there, which is good. We got it seared on top, so we're doing pretty good. That's looking pretty good itself, don't you think? So, like I was saying, you know, as we watch our steak cook and we get the water ready, it's almost ready. So we get the water ready, it is very possible to cook inside of your truck, all right? I use butane, not propane. Propane tends to be a little bit more unpredictable, so to speak. Butane, hadn't had a problem with it. Each butane can I get for $2 at Walmart. As you can see, there's a trend here. I'm getting everything at Walmart, right? It's really not that hard to do, you know. If you look up here, I have all kinds of soups and everything that I could possibly need to last for a whole 2 weeks. I'm typically out 2 weeks. Another thing I do, like the jug of water that you've seen, I carry about 10 gallons of water with me, and the 10 gallons usually lasts about 2 weeks. And the water, you know, I paid I think it was $1.70 the first time, and then it's 70 cents for a refill, you know, for every gallon. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's a budget, but it is a budget. Yeah, it's my budget, and it works for me. As you can see, we got the steak flipped, and it is cooking nice, and we're doing pretty good on that. So let's go ahead and check this water and see how things are going. That steam right there is exactly what you're looking for. Now we just need the water to boil. Once the water comes to a rolling boil, we will take the water and we will mix it in with the mashed potatoes and the corn, and we're almost done. We're almost ready to eat. Now I have this thermometer here, and it's got the directions on the side, which anybody who's never cooked probably needs to read that. But the thermometer gauge is real simple to read, and what we're going to be looking for is an internal temperature on a steak of about 150. That's what I want. I want 150. So we're going to separate the thermometer from the case. Put the case down. We're going to come right on up here. We're going to stick this bad boy right in the middle of the steak. I'm going to watch that needle move. It's just over 100. So it's not quite done yet. And there is our water going to a rolling boil. I don't know if you can see it, but now that it's boiling, let's go ahead and add it to our stuff. The first thing I'm going to add the water to is the corn. Just very carefully pour the water into the corn. Bury all the corn. There we go. Grab our spoon and we'll stir it up a little. And then we will put a lid on it. Make sure that that lid snaps it in. You see it's all steaming up on the inside? That's cooking. That is good. That is cooking. Next, we're gonna do the mashed potatoes. Now the mashed potatoes, you want to be careful when you add the water to. You add too much, the mashed potatoes will be runny. You add too little, they'll be lumpy. I'm going to add some water here. And then we will stir those up. to add a little bit more water. We'll continue to stir. All right, mashed potatoes are good. Put a lid on them and let them cook. Now once we're ready, we're going to take the corn and we're going to poke some holes in the top so that we can drain the water out from the corn, and then we'll put it on the plate once the steak is done. Alright, so my temperature came out right, so what I did is I cut the steak open and to double check just on appearance, and you can tell it is pretty good. You know, nice and pink on the inside, so we're good to go right there. So now what we can do is we can turn the burner off, unlock the butane. Just one last stir around the skillet. And then we will put it on the plate. And voila, there we have it. We have our steak, we have our corn, we have our mashed potatoes, and something to drink. And that's it. So as you can see, real easy to cook inside your truck. I just did it. I just made a steak, potatoes, and corn. So I'm pretty happy with that, you know. And you gotta be honest, looks all right. So hope you guys enjoyed. I know it's been a while since I put out a video. I got my own priorities. You know, I can't be a superstar and make all them videos like all these other super truckers. But I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna eat my dinner. I'm gonna enjoy myself, and I'll catch you on the flip side.